There are words that open doors, words that move unseen forces, and words that call forth money as swiftly as the wind answers the call of the sea. Most people speak lack without knowing, and so they reap lack. But to the one who learns the secret of magic words, life bends, circumstances shift, and wealth flows from channels both known and unknown. These words are not empty phrases, they are living seeds, charged with divine power, ready to manifest in the material world. When spoken with faith, they stir the invisible and set into motion a chain of events that brings money fast, in perfect time, through perfect ways. If your heart has longed for financial freedom, the key lies not in striving harder, but in speaking rightly. For the tongue, when guided by truth, becomes the very instrument of prosperity. There is a hidden power within the spoken word, a force that moves invisibly yet swiftly, shaping the conditions of our lives. Every word is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and from that seed grows the harvest of our experience. To speak is to create, and to declare is to command the invisible supply of the universe into visible form. Those who understand this mystery know that words are not idle sounds floating in the air. They are living vibrations that mold substance into shape. The words that you speak about money are the very words that determine how money flows toward you. When one says, "I never have enough," the law of life fulfills it, and lack appears again and again. When one declares, "Money comes easily and quickly," the same law fulfills it, and channels of provision open with surprising speed. The tongue is both a key and a lock. It either unlocks the storehouse of abundance or seals it shut. Therefore, if you desire money to come fast, you must learn to speak with faith, with authority, and with unwavering conviction that your words carry the power of command. It has been written, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." This truth applies to every area of life, and money is no exception. You may work, strive, and labor, yet if your words contradict your desire, you will delay your good. But if you align your words with the infinite storehouse of riches, you set in motion the unseen powers that arrange events, people, and opportunities to bring money into your hands without struggle. The spoken word has a peculiar power because it vibrates not only in your mind, but in the ethers around you. Every word spoken goes forth, drawing unto itself conditions that match its vibration. When you say, "I am rich in every way," those words take root, and life begins to bend itself toward your declaration. But if you say, "I can't afford it," you sow seeds of poverty, and the harvest must reflect lack. The universe hears only what you decree and reflects it back to you as form and circumstance. The power of spoken words lies in repetition, belief, and emotion. To say words once without conviction is like scattering seeds on stony ground. But to declare with faith, again and again, is to till the soil, water the ground, and watch the seed sprout. The spoken word builds images in the imagination, and the imagination clothes itself in reality. When one speaks of money with joy and expectation, the very vibration of joy becomes the magnet that pulls money forth rapidly. Money has ears, and it listens for your command. When you speak of it as your servant, it obeys. When you curse it, it flees. If you say, "Money is always flowing into my hands," money hears and rushes to fulfill its mission. If you say, "Money is hard to come by," money hides and delays. The one who speaks abundance with authority discovers that wealth obeys the tone of voice as much as the content of the word. The tone of confidence, gratitude, and expectation calls money as a shepherd calls his sheep. You are always under the law of your own word. If you find yourself in lack today, trace it back to the words you have spoken yesterday. If you find yourself in abundance today, it is because of the words you declared in faith before. The present is but the harvest of past words, and the future is already being shaped by the words you speak this moment. If you desire money fast, you must speak as though it is already here, already flowing, already serving you in perfect ways. Speak as though you already hold it in your hand, for the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is and what is spoken. It fulfills what it is told with unwavering loyalty. The tongue is a rudder, steering the ship of life toward abundance or poverty. Many people sabotage themselves by declaring lack unconsciously, not realizing that every "I can't afford it" or "I am broke" is a prayer of limitation. Yet just as quickly as one can curse his finances, he can bless them. To speak, "I am divinely supplied, money comes to me quickly and easily," is to overturn years of wrong thinking. The power of the word is immediate, and the shift can happen in a moment. Money may arrive through unexpected checks, sudden gifts, new opportunities, or doors that swing wide open. The word spoken in faith sets all this in motion without delay. You must also remember that words spoken in secret carry as much power as words spoken aloud. The silent declaration, "I live in a universe of abundance," resonates through the ethers, summoning the very conditions you require. Whispered words, written words, sung words, all carry vibrations of creative power. Whether you chant them in solitude, declare them in prayer, or speak them with joy in the morning, they go forth as messengers that do not return void. The one who would attract money fast must guard his lips. Just as a gardener pulls weeds from the soil, so must you uproot words of doubt, fear, and delay. Replace them at once with words of prosperity. If you say, "I don't know how money will come," correct yourself and say, "Money comes in perfect ways, through perfect channels, at the perfect time." If you say, "I am in debt," replace it with, "My debts are instantly cleared, and money flows to me in abundance." This continual substitution of words changes the soil of the subconscious, and soon the harvest shifts from lack to plenty. It is not enough to speak casually. The magic words must be spoken with authority, as one who knows. Imagine the wealthy man who commands his servant. He does not beg or plead, he declares, and the servant obeys. Speak to money in the same way. Do not say, "I wish money would come." Say instead, "Money comes now. Money serves me. Money is obedient to my call." This tone of authority is the mark of true faith, and it brings results with astonishing speed. Money is energy, and words are energy. When the energy of your words aligns with the energy of money, attraction happens instantly. If you say, "I am a magnet for money," you charge your field with the vibration of wealth, and money cannot resist but be drawn to you. Speak it often, speak it boldly, and speak it with joy, for joy is the signal that tells the universe you are ready to receive. In every season, the law of the spoken word remains the same. What you declare in faith must appear. If you seek money fast, then begin this moment to fill your mouth with the language of wealth. Refuse to utter one word of poverty. Guard your tongue against every idle declaration of lack. Instead, let your lips overflow with words of increase, words of abundance, words of swift supply. The more you speak them, the faster money responds. For money is but the obedient servant of the words spoken in faith. There is a law that governs the hidden workings of the mind and spirit, a law as exact and unbending as the law of gravity. It is the law of substitution. This law states that one thought must drive out another. One word must replace another. One declaration must take the place of its opposite. No man can think of lack and wealth at the same time, for one cancels the other. The mind is like a cup. If it is filled with words of poverty, there is no room for the words of abundance. Therefore, if you would attract money fast, you must master the art of substitution. The majority of men and women speak of lack without realizing that their own words are planting the very poverty they fear. They say, "I cannot afford this. There is never enough. Times are hard," and those words become the prophecy of their future. But the law of substitution allows one to instantly reverse these conditions. Each time a word of lack is spoken, it can be replaced by a word of abundance. When you hear yourself say, "I cannot afford it," you immediately substitute with, "I can afford everything I need, for I live in a rich and abundant universe." When the thought arises, "I do not see the money," you substitute with, I see God's supply pouring into my life from every direction. This practice transforms the inner atmosphere of the mind, and that new atmosphere creates the outer conditions of wealth. The power of substitution lies in its immediacy. You need not wait for years of struggle, nor must you beg for change. The very moment you catch yourself in words of fear and replace them with words of faith, you have shifted your vibration. In that instant, the universe rearranges itself to match your new declaration. Money, which seemed delayed, now finds an open channel to flow swiftly. Circumstances that were blocked suddenly yield. People who were indifferent suddenly favor you. The law of substitution is the doorway through which divine supply enters, and it works at once. Every negative word is a seed of poverty, but no seed can grow if it is plucked from the soil before it takes root. This is why substitution is so powerful. You pull out the seed of lack the moment you notice it, and you plant instead the seed of wealth. Say you walk into a store and a thought arises, I cannot buy this. Do not allow the seed to remain. At once, declare, I can buy whatever I desire. Money comes to me quickly to meet my every need. By doing this, you deny the poverty seed the chance to grow, and you plant a seed of abundance in its place. Over time, the new seeds bear fruit, and you walk into the same store, this time with the money in your hands. It is written, let the weak say, I am strong. This is the law of substitution in action. The one who feels weak does not speak of weakness. He substitutes words of strength. Likewise, let the poor say, I am rich. For as he speaks, so it must be. The word substitutes poverty with wealth, lack with abundance, delay with instant supply. The universe knows no resistance to a word spoken in faith. When you say, I am rich, the unseen forces of life take it as truth, and all conditions bend themselves to make it manifest. The law of substitution is also the law of imagination. When a fearful picture arises, you must substitute it with a picture of wealth fulfilled. If you see yourself unable to pay a bill, immediately substitute the image with one of yourself writing the check with ease, smiling as the bill is cleared. If you see your pockets empty, substitute the vision with pockets filled with money, overflowing with abundance. The mind cannot hold both pictures at once. Choose the picture of wealth, and the picture of lack is dissolved. Choose the word of abundance, and the word of poverty is cancelled. Money responds to substitution because money is obedient to the dominant thought and word. If you say for years, I never have enough, money obeys and hides itself. But if in one moment you begin to say, I always have more than enough, and you persist, money must obey the new command. Do not fear that the old words have bound you forever, for the law of substitution cancels them out. Just as light drives away darkness instantly, so the word of abundance drives away the shadow of lack. The new word is stronger than the old, for truth always conquers illusion. Practice substitution in every hour of the day. When a friend speaks of hard times, do not agree. Substitute with a declaration of prosperity. If someone says, the economy is failing, substitute with, the economy of God is eternal, and I live under that economy of supply. If someone says, there is no way, substitute with God, all things are possible, and money comes through perfect ways. Never allow yourself to echo the words of fear that pass through the lips of others. Speak instead the words of abundance, for your words create your world, not theirs. The magic words to attract money fast are always words of substitution. Each time you say, money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways, you replace the fear of delay with the certainty of provision. Each time you say, I always prosper no matter what, you replace the suggestion of failure with the assurance of success. Each time you say, I am divinely supplied, you replace the picture of lack with the truth of abundance. By practicing substitution faithfully, your entire life begins to shift, and money appears with surprising speed. The law of substitution is the very heart of transformation. It requires vigilance, for the mind has been trained in words of lack for years. But the moment you decide to guard your lips and mind, you gain mastery. You may stumble and find yourself speaking of debt, but you quickly substitute with words of freedom. You may think of bills, but you substitute with words of plenty. Over and over, you replace the old with the new until the old habit dies and only abundance remains. Those who master substitution discover that money becomes their constant companion. They find checks arriving unexpectedly, gifts coming unannounced, work rewarded swiftly, and opportunities multiplying. The world calls it coincidence. But it is not coincidence. It is the law of substitution working with mathematical certainty. Words of lack have been erased and words of abundance have taken root, and the harvest of abundance follows swiftly. The law is simple. When you catch yourself speaking of what you do not want, immediately speak of what you do want. When you find yourself imagining lack, substitute the image with one of wealth. When you hear others declare fear, substitute their words with a silent declaration of faith. Do this, and you will discover the magic words to attract money fast. Faith is the golden key that unlocks the storehouses of supply. Without faith, words are empty shells, but with faith, they become living power, charged with creative force, able to summon wealth and provision from the unseen into the seen. Faith in divine supply is not a fragile hope or a faint wish. It is the deep knowing that the universe is already rich with everything you could ever require, and that this supply is flowing toward you even now. Those who live in faith discover that money comes with ease, and often with astonishing speed, for faith is the magnet that pulls substance into form. The mind of man is easily deceived by appearances. The eyes see an empty purse, the bills piling on the table, the account that seems low, and the heart trembles. But faith looks beyond appearances. Faith declares, "My supply is endless, and money flows to me now," even when every sense shouts the opposite. This steadfast declaration of abundance, spoken in faith, is the turning point. For the moment one refuses to be moved by lack, the invisible channels of provision open wide, and money begins to move quickly into one's hands. Faith is trust in divine law, trust that every word spoken in alignment with truth is already fulfilled. When you say, "I am rich, I am supplied, I am prosperous," faith does not ask how it will happen. Faith simply knows it is already so, and because the law of life responds only to belief, the universe bends to bring the fulfillment of the word. Without faith, the word is like a seed left on stone. With faith, the word is planted in fertile soil, watered daily, and harvests swiftly. There is a spiritual supply for every need. When the need is money, that supply is already waiting in the unseen, eager to manifest. Faith is the bridge that carries it over into the visible. Money may come through channels known or unknown, expected or unexpected, but faith never concerns itself with the channel. Faith only knows that divine supply is infinite and unfailing. When you speak the magic words to attract money, speak them with the faith that the supply is already yours, for indeed it is. The power of faith is most clearly seen in times of apparent lack. When all seems empty and the way seems closed, faith speaks louder than the voice of fear. If you declare, "I am always abundantly supplied," in the very moment of need, you release a force greater than the need itself. The law of faith does not delay, it responds at once. Often, money will appear in ways that leave you astonished. A forgotten debt is repaid. A friend is moved to give. A new door of opportunity opens. These are not chance happenings. They are the evidence of faith in divine supply made visible. Many make the mistake of mingling faith with doubt. They speak words of abundance in the morning, but undo them with words of worry in the evening. They declare, "Money comes easily," then say, "But I don't see how it will." This divided mind cannot attract swiftly, for it cancels its own decree. Faith must be single-minded, unwavering, absolute. Speak the word once with authority and never contradict it. When the thought of doubt arises, answer it with a word of faith. "Though I see nothing, money is on its way. Though I do not know how, divine supply knows the perfect channel." This steady faith commands the law of supply to act, and money flows without delay. Faith is the assurance that money already exists in abundance, even if the evidence is not yet in hand. Consider the sun behind the clouds. Though you cannot see it, you know it shines. So it is with divine supply. It shines constantly, though the clouds of fear may hide it for a time. When you speak words of wealth with faith, you part the clouds, and the supply bursts forth. Money comes rushing in, not because it was created at that moment, but because your faith allowed you to see what was already there. Faith in divine supply also frees you from the fear of loss. Many hoard money, thinking it scarce, but faith knows that money circulates endlessly, like air, like water, like breath. If some leaves, more comes. If one channel closes, another opens. Faith never clings, for it knows there is no shortage in the universe. To release money with joy is to prove your faith, and as you give freely, you open the way for more to return quickly, pressed down and running over. When you say, "I live in divine abundance," speak it as one who knows it is already true. When you say, "Money flows to me constantly," speak it with the joy of expectation, not with the strain of effort. Faith is never anxious. Faith is calm, serene, and confident. Faith is the quiet conviction that your word is law, and your supply cannot fail. This calm faith is the secret of speed. The more relaxed and trusting you are, the faster money appears, for anxiety is resistance, while faith is allowance. Remember also that faith does not dwell on the past. You may have spoken words of lack before, but faith cancels them. You may have lived in poverty yesterday, but faith begins in you today. The moment you declare in faith, "I am divinely supplied now," all the old records are erased, and the new decree takes precedence. Money may come at lightning speed, for divine law is not bound by time. It responds to the vibration of faith in the present moment. Faith is the true wealth. Without it, even great sums of money vanish like sand. With it, even in apparent poverty, the riches of the universe stand ready to rush forth. The one who possesses faith in divine supply never fears lack, never doubts provision, never delays their good. They speak the magic words boldly, and the universe responds swiftly. Say often, "My supply is endless, my wealth is secure, and money comes to me now in perfect ways." Say it with faith, not as a plea, but as a decree. Each word spoken in faith is a command to the unseen forces of life. Each word is an order sent to the storehouses of supply, and because divine law cannot fail, money comes quickly, easily, and without resistance. The faith that attracts money fast is not blind. It is based on the eternal truth that abundance is the natural state of the universe. There is no lack in divine mind, no shortage in the infinite, no poverty in the source of life. By aligning your words with this truth and speaking them with faith, you step into the current of infinite supply, and the current carries money swiftly into your life. The faster you believe, the faster you receive. The deeper your faith, the quicker your wealth appears. Money is but the servant of faith, and it runs swiftly to the one who knows that supply is unfailing and already at hand. There is a secret known only to those who understand the power of mind and spirit. The shift of consciousness can happen in an instant. Many believe that wealth requires long years of toil, endless effort, and slow progress. But those who grasp the laws of life know that the change of fortune is as swift as the change of thought. Consciousness is the soil from which every condition grows, and the moment the soil is changed, the harvest changes also. To attract money fast, you must learn to shift your consciousness instantly, from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, from delay to immediacy. Every condition in your outer life is but the reflection of your inner state. When the mind is filled with worry, the outer world reflects struggle. When the mind is saturated with fear, the outer world mirrors lack. But when the mind rises into the consciousness of wealth, the outer world bends itself to supply money, opportunity, and abundance without delay. The instant you lift your thought from poverty to prosperity, you begin to call forth money with speed, for life moves in harmony with the consciousness that governs it. The shift begins with words, for words carry consciousness. When you say, "I am broke," you sink deeper into poverty consciousness, and your outer life follows. But when you declare, "I am wealthy and richly supplied," you rise at once into prosperity consciousness, and life responds accordingly. The change does not take months, nor does it require years of training. It is immediate. In the very moment you speak words of wealth, your vibration rises, and money begins to move toward you like metal to a magnet. It is not circumstances that bind man, it is his state of consciousness. Two men may walk the same road, yet one sees only lack, while the other sees opportunity. The one who dwells in poverty, consciousness speaks constantly of debt, difficulty, and delay, and his words become his reality. The one who lives in abundance, consciousness speaks of plenty, ease, and divine provision. And his words draw wealth with astonishing speed. The difference is not in the world around them, but in the inner world they carry. This is why the shift of consciousness is the key to attracting money fast. It transforms the inner world, and the outer world must follow. Consider the man who says, "I cannot find work." He is bound not by lack of opportunity, but by lack of vision. If in that instant he shifts his consciousness and declares, "Perfect work is already mine," and money flows through it easily, he opens the door for unseen channels to deliver what he has claimed. The shift of consciousness rearranges events, awakens intuition, and brings people and circumstances into alignment to fulfill the new decree. The change can happen in a day, an hour, or even in the very moment the words are spoken. The magic lies in authority. To say, "I hope money will come," is to dwell in doubt consciousness, and doubt produces delay. But to declare with certainty, "Money is here, money serves me, money comes now," is to shift into the consciousness of immediacy, and life responds without hesitation. The instant shift is always available, for the power lies not in the outer world, but in the words spoken and believed. This shift is like turning a key in a lock. The door to abundance is always before you, but as long as you think thoughts of poverty, the door remains closed. The moment you declare words of wealth with conviction, the key turns, the lock opens, and the supply rushes in. Nothing in the outer world has changed, but everything in the unseen has shifted. The law of life must fulfill the new command, and money moves quickly to manifest the new state of consciousness. Do not be deceived into thinking the shift requires long effort. The mind can turn as swiftly as a leaf in the wind. At one moment, you may see only bills and debts. In the next, you may see riches flowing toward you. The only requirement is vigilance. The moment you notice yourself slipping into poverty consciousness, arrest the thought and substitute it with prosperity consciousness. Say at once, "I live in a universe of wealth. Money flows to me now." This instant declaration lifts you at once, and the vibration of abundance goes forth to attract the conditions of supply. The shift of consciousness is also a shift of feeling. Words spoken without feeling have little power, but words charged with joy, gratitude, and expectation become commands to the universe. When you declare, "I am rich," feel the joy as though the money were already in your hands. When you say, "Money comes quickly," imagine the thrill of receiving it, the freedom of using it, the delight of abundance. The feeling is the proof of consciousness. The stronger the feeling, the faster the manifestation. Some imagine that because they have lived long in poverty consciousness, they must remain there. But the truth is that no matter how long a room has been dark, the moment the light is turned on, the darkness vanishes. It does not fade slowly, it disappears at once. So it is with the shift of consciousness. No matter how long you have spoken words of lack, the moment you speak words of abundance with faith, the poverty consciousness dissolves. Light and darkness cannot dwell together, and abundance consciousness cannot coexist with poverty consciousness. The stronger must drive out the weaker, and abundance is always stronger than lack. The shift also requires persistence. Though the change is instant, the old patterns may attempt to reassert themselves. Fearful thoughts may whisper, What if it doesn't work? Doubt may creep in, saying, I don't see the money yet. When this happens, do not yield. Return at once to your magic words. Declare again, I am richly supplied. Money comes now in perfect ways. Each time you return to abundance consciousness, you strengthen it until it becomes your natural state. Soon, the old patterns lose all power, and money flows to you naturally and swiftly. Every day is an opportunity for an instant shift. When you wake, choose to dwell in abundance, consciousness at once. Say, this is a rich day, filled with prosperity. Money flows to me throughout this day. As you walk, as you work, as you speak, remain aware of your consciousness. If lack appears before you, refuse to bow to it. Declare instead, abundance is here. Money is flowing. This constant practice of instant shifting turns your entire life into a magnet for wealth. The speed of manifestation is determined by the speed of your shift. The moment you speak words of abundance and believe them, the law of life sets everything in motion to fulfill them. The longer you linger in doubt, the longer the delay. But the moment you rise into certainty, the supply rushes to meet you. Money is always waiting for the command, and the command is given through consciousness. The instant shift is the most powerful of all truths, for it shows that you are never bound by time, circumstance, or condition. At any moment, you may rise into prosperity, consciousness, and speak the words that bring money fast. You may have been poor yesterday, but in one instant, you may declare yourself rich, and life must obey. You may have struggled for years, but in one instant, you may align with abundance, and the struggle ends. The universe does not measure time, it measures consciousness. When the shift is made, the manifestation is certain. Say now, I shift this moment into abundance consciousness. I live in a universe of supply. Money comes quickly, easily, and in perfect ways. Say it with faith. Say it with joy, say it with gratitude, and feel the vibration of wealth filling your being. In that instant the shift is made, and money begins to move toward you without delay. For the law of life cannot resist the consciousness of abundance, and the wealth of the universe is always ready to rush forth to the one who dares to claim it now. There is a divine order that governs all things. Nothing arrives too soon, and nothing arrives too late. Every event, every opportunity, every gift of supply comes at the exact moment it is needed. This is the law of perfect timing. Many imagine that they are waiting for money, yet the truth is that money is already prepared, waiting for the perfect moment to appear. When you align yourself with divine order, you step into this perfect timing, and money arrives with speed and precision, never delayed, never denied. The law of perfect timing is not bound by human schedules or worldly clocks. It belongs to the eternal order of the universe. You may think that money is late, but in truth, it is being arranged in ways beyond your sight. The universe is weaving together people, events, and circumstances, aligning them perfectly to deliver your supply in the best way possible. The moment you declare words of abundance with faith, the law begins its work. And though you may not see the evidence at once, the supply is already moving toward you, prepared to arrive at exactly the right moment. Perfect timing is swift timing. The instant your consciousness shifts and your words align with abundance, the supply rushes forward. It does not tarry, for the law does not delay. Delay is only an appearance created by fear and impatience. Faith knows that every good arrives on time, and when the heart rests in this faith, money often appears with astonishing speed. The one who trusts the law of perfect timing never frets, never worries, never wonders when the money will come. They know it is already on the way, and will appear precisely when needed, sometimes at the last hour, sometimes in advance, but always in perfect harmony with divine order. Impatience is the thief of manifestation. Many block their own supply by declaring, "Why is it not here yet?" or "It should have come by now." Such words contradict the law and cause resistance. But the one who says, "Money comes at the right time, in the right way, through the right channels," aligns with the law of perfect timing. They release the strain of hurry and allow the universe to deliver swiftly and perfectly. Often, money appears faster when the strain is lifted, for faith clears the channel and impatience clogs it. The law of perfect timing is seen in nature. The sun rises each morning without fail, not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. The tides move in harmony with the moon, never rushing, never delaying. Seeds sprout, flowers bloom, rivers flow, all in perfect order. So it is with supply. Money has its season, and when spoken into being with faith, it arrives at its perfect hour. The more you trust this rhythm, the faster it manifests, for you no longer resist with fear and doubt. When you declare the magic words, "I am divinely supplied. Money comes now in perfect ways," you are not only calling money, you are aligning with timing. You are saying to the universe, "I trust the order of life. I release haste, I release doubt, and I stand ready to receive." In this trust, money often appears faster than you imagined, because you have removed the barrier of impatience. The law always fulfills, and it fulfills at the exact moment your faith makes you ready to receive. Read the stories of those who lived by faith, and you will see the law of timing at work. Time and again, provision appeared at the last moment, just as it was required. Rent was paid the day it was due, food arrived the hour it was needed, a debt was cleared in the very week it threatened to overwhelm. These are not accidents, they are the workings of divine order, and once the need is met, often there is more than enough, for divine supply does not only meet the need, it surpasses it. When you feel pressed by urgency, speak words of trust. Say, "There is no hurry in divine mind, all that I need comes to me on time." Say, "Money is never late, it arrives swiftly, easily, and at the perfect hour." Each declaration calms the heart and strengthens the vibration of faith, and as the heart grows calm, the channel of supply opens wide, allowing money to flow in without obstruction. The more you trust perfect timing, the more swiftly money moves toward you. Perfect timing is also perfect protection. At times, money may appear delayed, but it is only the universe arranging better circumstances than you expected. Perhaps the channel you imagined was too small, and the universe was preparing a greater one. Perhaps the money would have slipped through your hands if it came too soon, so the law held it until you were ready. Faith sees even apparent delays as blessings, knowing that divine timing is preparing something greater than the mind can conceive. The one who speaks words of trust discovers that even when money seems late, it always proves to be right on time. Say often, "I am always in the right place at the right time, and my money is always on time." These are magic words of alignment. They carry you into the current of divine order, where everything moves swiftly, smoothly, and harmoniously. Opportunities present themselves, people appear to assist, gifts arrive unexpectedly, and money shows up just as it is needed. To live in harmony with perfect timing is to live in the rhythm of the universe itself, and in that rhythm, all things move fast. The law of perfect timing also cancels fear of the future. Many live under the shadow of, "What if?" What if the money does not come? What if the bill is not paid? What if lack continues? But the one who trusts timing says, "The supply will be there when I need it, for the law cannot fail." This faith clears the fear, and fear is the only real enemy of abundance. In the absence of fear, money flows as naturally as breath. You may test this law daily. The next time a need arises, instead of falling into worry, declare, "This is already met. The supply is on its way. It will appear at the perfect moment." Say it with calm certainty, and then watch as life fulfills your words. Again and again, you will see the law prove itself, and each proof will strengthen your faith. Soon you will no longer question timing, for you will know that supply is never late, never denied, but always swift and perfect. The law of perfect timing works because divine supply is intelligent. It knows when, where, and how to appear. Your task is not to calculate the timing, but to declare the supply and trust its arrival. Speak your magic words boldly, then release the how and when. Rest in faith, and the law will surprise you with its precision. The check will arrive the day you need it. The gift will appear when your heart calls for it. The opportunity will open at the moment you are ready. This is divine order, and it never fails. When you master this law, money becomes a faithful companion, always present, always on time, never delayed. You no longer chase it, for you know it comes as surely as the dawn. You no longer fear lack, for you know the supply cannot miss its mark. You live in trust, and trust brings speed. For the more you release, the faster the law works. The more you rest in timing, the quicker the money flows. Say daily, I live in divine timing. My money is always on time. I trust the perfect order of life. These words, spoken in faith, carry you into alignment with the law. And in this alignment, you will discover that money not only comes, it comes fast, at the exact moment it is needed, through channels both expected and unexpected, proving again that the universe is rich, generous, and perfectly ordered to meet your every need. The words we speak are seeds planted in the garden of life. Every declaration of abundance, every phrase of faith, every word of trust shapes the unseen and calls it into form. Money is not a stranger, it is a faithful servant, rushing to the one who speaks with authority and certainty. The magic words are not mere sounds, but vibrations that command the universe, aligning people, places, and opportunities to fulfill their promise. When you speak of supply, it comes. When you affirm perfect timing, it appears without delay. When you declare abundance, doors open where walls once stood. Life responds not to fear, but to faith. And every time your lips speak the language of wealth, the universe listens and obeys. Remember this, you are not chasing money, for money is already seeking you. It waits only for your words of invitation, your calm assurance, your fearless declaration. Say daily, with conviction, that you are divinely supplied, that money comes swiftly, easily, and perfectly. Let no doubt take root, for doubt delays, while faith accelerates. Stand in the certainty that all is provided. Rest in the rhythm of divine timing. Speak the magic words with joy, with gratitude, with unshakable trust. And as you do, you will watch your world transform, needs met before they are spoken, abundance flowing like a river, and money appearing fast, in ways beyond your imagination. For the word is power, the word is law, and the word spoken in faith never fails.